What's going on, guys? It's Rodrigo Fondor with Asheville Real Estate News. Really excited to join you guys back on the show. We got a special guest for you today. As you all know, we are moving into election season, November, and wanted to start doing something and hopefully try to get different perspectives on the candidates' opinions on what's happening and certain things with affordable housing, taxes, and just short-term rentals, etc. So today we're joined by Amanda Edwards, and she's going to dive into that, and we're just going to have a good conversation about who she is, where she came from, and why we're here today. So tune in and check it out. Amanda, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Rodrigo.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest question anytime we meet somebody in Nashville is typically like, are you from here, or are you local or not? And where are you from and what's home?
Yeah, so I moved to Asheville in the mid-90s.
Okay.
From southern West Virginia. I'm a West Virginia girl at heart. But moved here to attend UNC Asheville, where I did my undergraduate degree. Left for a few years to attend the University of Tennessee. My master's is in public administration, which is a nice tie in running for county commission. And have been back since early 2000s, and since then I've led a number of nonprofit organizations.
Yeah, so you have quite the wealth of experience. As you go back, it'd be interesting to hear if there's like a certain memory or moment that you're like, I learned something in each of those posts along the way.
Oh, that's a really great question. So for 8 years I served at the Literacy Council of Buncombe County as the executive director. Took our budget from less than $180,000 to pushing $400,000, which was great. 3 part-time staff to 6 full-time staff.
Wow, that's a jump.
So really, looking back, some of my fondest memories of being in Asheville and working in Buncombe County are there, and growing that organization and leaving it better than I found it. And over that time working with so many adults who were struggling to read or learning to speak English and become U.S. citizens through our tutoring programs.
Some major ripple effects then that you're able to be part of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we ended up starting to work with children from low-income families who needed tutoring to really get ahead in school with their reading levels.
Absolutely. And what did you do after that?
I went to the Western North Carolina American Red Cross.
Okay.
We covered 16 counties in Western North Carolina, from McDowell over
All the way to the
line, so all the way to Murphy.
Okay.
And I had been there all of 6 months when Superstorm Sandy happened.
Really?
And there is nothing like learning the work of the Red Cross than being in the thick of one of the worst national disasters ever.
Wow. What was the moment there where you're like, wow, doing this, I'm like, this is crazy. How was that?
When I look back, it was actually the work that we did on a local level that has really impacted me the most. And while I was there, we started working with third graders on a pilot project called the Pillowcase Project. And we had partnered with another local nonprofit, Children First Communities in Schools, and went into the classrooms of third graders and taught them how to be prepared for disasters, whether it was evacuating their home, should it be on fire, or if they need to leave due to flooding or a winter storm, whatever, and what to have in their pillowcase that they could take with them, hence the name Pillowcase Project. And seeing that was going to make a difference with kids and their families and could potentially save a life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And from there, did you transition to what you're doing now?
I sure did.
And so what are you doing now?
I am the Director of College Advancement at AB Tech, which we raise all the money for the foundation for the college that provides scholarships for students, emergency funds. We will do whatever we can to keep someone from dropping out of school. And if that means they need help paying rent for a month, our student emergency fund is there to help them.
Wow.
Absolutely. So far, that's what I'm most proud of, is knowing that last year we kept 130 students from dropping out.
That's a big deal.
It is.
Yeah, it's the ripple effect of, just finishing something like that's important.
Absolutely.
And I know, we chatted a little bit off camera about the educational component, and my mom was always telling me, it's not about what you get your degree in, it's about that you set out and you just finish, and that's really all that matters. And we've all gone back and forth on that a lot, but I'll say that I do appreciate knowing that there's a closed cycle for me on that, and that is, it kind of does boost your confidence in a little bit. Just like, yeah, I set out to do something, I finished.
Absolutely. And I think for so many of our students, they're returning. Our average student is a 26-year-old single mom.
Right.
She has a little bit of life under her belt, as do our male students.
And
really come in ready to go, ready to learn, and to complete that degree so that they can go to work in good paying jobs.
Yeah. Which they do exist here, right?
They do exist.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that a little bit down the road. Let's back up though, and let's get into, how did you decide to get into the political field? What was that moment where you're like, okay, that's it, I'm going in?
This is it. Well, as I mentioned, I have my master's in public administration. I've spent my career in nonprofit management, which is often called the third branch of government. My family and I were on vacation last July, and things had really started coming to light within the county, and we were driving out west, and I looked at my husband and I said, I think I'm going to run for county commission this time. He nearly wrecked. he said, I thought you liked the management side. And I said, I have a skill set.
Yeah.
And I know how to go into organizations that are struggling and leaving them better than I left them. I said, I want to work hard to really restore trust and accountability. And those two words have been the hallmark of my campaign since I announced in January.
Well, and obviously it would resonate with all the ripple effects that are still being felt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our county needs to come together, our commissioners, and when I'm elected, that's exactly what we'll do, is start to restore that trust.
Yeah, well, good luck. Because that is going to be a big task. I think anytime politics and trust don't always mix well. So
absolutely.
Well, let's go back then to the component of education, and we were talking about the fund that you have at AB Tech that you all helped create and whatnot. And let's go to the rent component specifically. We're a little bit more of a real estate centered podcast. So wanted to get your opinion on, from a county level, what is the view or the approach that you would bring as far as affordable housing or task force housing or whatever the word you want to use. We've had a lot of conversations within the city, but not a lot that are county specific. So
right. I think that's a really great question, and I think we have to really address the housing crisis on one level by committing to an affordable housing supply.
Okay.
I would really encourage the county to look at organizations that have a long track record of success. Mountain Housing Opportunities, Habitat for Humanity. I even think Givens Estates. Let's look at a 5-10-year plan and publish goals. How can we reach that within those organizations and really study them, hold ourselves accountable to that and to committing to an affordable housing supply.
If you're publishing goals, that's definitely creating a level of accountability out there and putting it public. So,
and that's incredibly important.
What the county, I feel like, so personally, we really like mobile homes on our component of what we do, and sometimes zoning and the county don't it feels like they're not encouraging new mobile homes to go into places. I'm probably putting you on the spot on this, but how do you view that, manufacturing, whether it's single wide or double wides, fit into that piece of, affordable housing and addressing that?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question, and it gave me the opportunity to really dig in and take a look at that. And I think one of the things we have to address and move past is the stigma that is often associated with mobile homes and mobile home communities. And, how do we do that, what that looks like? I think that's where conversations with the community, with folks like you who are connected to that, and how do we start to use different language and approach it in a different way to take that stigma away from mobile home communities. I think one thing we have to look at is ensuring that when folks do purchase those homes, they understand that the equity may be a little different versus a built-in structured home. Absolutely. Ensuring that they're well aware of that and how much equity they will be able to gain. Yeah,
and sometimes it's going to be none, right? Depending the way it's set up. So, and then they have that stigma, as because there's reasons for it. But we have found that it's hard to provide housing at a level that's normal in a lot of times, especially with the way the market is right now. if it's not manufactured housing. So
Right.
Another hot topic that's probably, who knows how long, as long as Asheville continues to being a destination city, we'll continue having it, is the short-term rentals.
Right.
And obviously last year inside the city, there's definitely been a lot of major decisions being made on that front, and that continues to be a major point of contention. How do you view that playing out in the county?
Well, first, I think we have to call them what they are, vacation rentals, and be well aware that that has been happening in our community for a very long time. And address, them being used for single and multiple nights. From really what I'm hearing is just the genuine and concern about these houses being used for vacation rentals when we do have a housing crisis, an affordable housing crisis ahead of us.
True.
So I think, again, one of the things that I've said from the beginning is, as a commissioner, it's really important to listen to the community and to hear all sides and to ask really hard questions and have those conversations before moving forward and making any decisions. And this is one that is coming up, and I am really interested to hear and learn more as we move forward.
As you've been out talking to the different people that you're going to be representing, has that been something that you've heard murmurs of concerns? Is that, or is it not something, at least in your district, that it's as a pressing issue as that it might be in somewhere else?
Sure. I've heard it in a couple of pockets.
Okay.
My District 2 is a very interesting district in the geography that it covers.
Yeah.
It has come up a couple of times, but definitely not as often as the general overarching concern of affordable housing. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. You mentioned my background in education. Yeah. My husband's an elementary school principal, and watching teachers leave our schools in droves because they often say affordable housing is one of the top 2 reasons they're leaving outside of their salaries.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is, and it impacts the entire community.
Yeah, big impact for sure,
It is.
Well, let's pivot again a little bit.
Yeah.
I always ask this question. I think that the concept of sort of reinventing yourself is really interesting, and wanted to know if you've maybe learned something about yourself that surprised you over the last 6 or 8 months since whatever January's been.
It has been.
That you've been like, wow, I didn't know the skill set or this energy or whatever it might be when it's come that when you've been out there a lot more than the public eye.
That is the funniest question, because I was out somewhere yesterday and I passed by a table and they elbowed each other and they went, "That's Amanda, she's running for county commission." I had no idea who they were and just went back to the table and said hello and got to chat with them for a few moments. But it was the funniest experience, and definitely one that I've not expected. And I don't think you can prepare for until you're in it.
Right.
But what I can say that I have learned is how much I care about Buncombe County, how much I care about the people that live here. And for me, having served our community in so many ways, directly impacting people, this is another way for me to do that on a really large scale.
Would you say that your approach is similar and you're just maybe using a different tool set then? Almost?
I think it is. I really do. I like people. I like talking to people. I like hearing what's happening, what their concerns are, and being able to connect with folks. And I think that's important. I think there's so much negativity surrounding local politics and government right now that the more that we can have conversations and take the party out of it and really at the end of the day be able to deliver effective, efficient services is what a commissioner should be doing and what I want to do.
Yeah, no, well, definitely good luck on that journey for sure.
Thank you so much.
So the elections are in November, right?
Absolutely, November 6th.
November 6th. So what's your schedule look like between now and November 6th?
My schedule is completely packed.
I bet.
With meet and greets, canvassing, events, but I do want to make myself as accessible as possible to our residents.
So if somebody's in District 2 and they're trying to get a little bit more information or just get context or ask specific questions, what's the best way for them to either get involved or ask questions, connect with you, etc.?
Absolutely. My website is electamandaedwards.org.
Okay.
And my email address, electamanda2018@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'm usually pretty quickly responsive to folks and really do enjoy hearing from them and their concerns, and would love to have as many people helping out as possible.
Yeah, and absolutely. We'll include that in the show notes and whatnot, so
Thanks.
it's easy to get that information. Well, good luck in November. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's always interesting to hear about the people who are running, what their perspective is on some of the hot button issues when it comes to the real estate side of things. So really, thankful for the time that you took out with us today.
Thanks for inviting me. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right, well, take care.
Thanks.
All right, guys, there you have it. Another good podcast. It was a great episode. If you have any questions, we'll link that information in the show notes so you all can connect with Amanda. Feel free to ask your questions in the comments below as well. Until next time, see you all on the next episode. Thanks.